Okay, so now it is time to paint. If you do not have paint, no worries, no stress. You can totally color this in with any type of other colored media. I think crayon would probably be best for this if you don't have paint, because you can color in here and it'll fill in the space nicely. And colored pencil would probably take too long. If you use, you could certainly do it though. And then marker sometimes gets a little streaky, and I used a big piece of paper. It might be easier with small, but your marker would actually look really bright and colorful. But for me, I did crayon so that I could do somewhat of a resist. And so I'm gonna use watercolor to kind of interact with that crayon. So I just have a simple watercolor palette here, and we're at school, so this one's a little dirty, but that's okay because we know how to use it. And you obviously need water and a paintbrush. And I use a flat square type brush because this one is bigger and it lets me kind of get into those spaces. So you can do a wet on wet technique where you simply get that paper wet first. And I like to keep things kind of rainbow because I'm artsy. But I will take a drop and I will stick it into my red to start with my rainbow. And you really need to activate that paint. So to activate the paint, which means to make it more painty, I have to stir Bob the brush, Mr. Brush, into that little oval pan for about 20 seconds or so to really get that paint going. And if you want light colors, don't use as much paint, so you'll just use a little bit of paint. Whereas if you like bright colors, then you wanna stir a little bit longer. So now that I've got my red going, I can paint right in here, and that water that I used on there before will help absorb it. Now this is not paint paper, so it's gonna wrinkle a little bit. That's okay with me. So I just kind of go in and I'm gonna paint my lantern however I want. And I use strokes that go back and forth, back and forth. Mr. Bob's a little fancy. He's not a scribble scrabbler. He likes to go back and forth like a little ballerina. Okay. Now I will continue painting all the way down. You could paint it all one color. You could switch it up. It is your lantern. Have fun. All right. Probably fast forward this part of the video, but feel free to pause at any time. If you have a pencil, you can make a curlicue strip by lining that pencil up on top of your pencil and holding it. And then I actually wrap it around my pencil very tightly. And I roll that pencil. I use my fingers like little pinchers. And I roll and roll and roll and pinch and keep it really tight. And when I keep rolling and rolling, 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 rolling. Okay. When you're done and you let go and you let your pencil out, it makes little spirals or curlicues. So that's another fun one too. Put your glue on, stick that guy, and continue with the pattern. Okay guys, so I'm gonna teach you how to make your beautiful painting into a lantern. You're going to take your paper, okay, and you're actually going to flip it over backwards, and you are going to roll that guy up into a nice little circle. Once you have rolled your paper up, you are ready to staple. So you're gonna take your stapler, staple the top, and line up where you want it to go, and staple the bottom. And that holds it in place. Now you are ready to, if you want, you can take a hole punch and hole punch 2 holes on opposite sides at the top. So 1, and then right across from that, so if my hole is here, then right to the other side, 2, and you have 2 holes. Then you can take a piece of yarn or a pipe cleaner, stick that in there, wrap it around and tie a knot, or kind of bend it around if it's a pipe cleaner. If it's yarn, obviously you would want to tie it. And then do the other side. Okay, boom, boom, boom. All right, and that is how you do the top.